Hello and welcome to this Wednesday webinar, the ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials Overview. We'll be doing these webinars on a variety of topics every Wednesday during the fall semester and the spring semester. They're always at 2 p.m. and they typically go about 20 minutes. My name is Mark Cooper, and joining me on the call today are Lisa Kidder and Ryan Randall. So today's topic is centered around the steps that you can take to manage the transition by learning how to use the Canvas learning management system and all of the resources available to help you to convert your courses over to Moodle. So, are you curious about Canvas? Fall 2025 is less than a year away. I know that's kind of scary, but a little bit less than a year. So here are some things that you can do now that will alleviate any anxiety that you might be feeling about this transition of your courses from Moodle to Canvas. So you can begin by exploring ISU Canvas right now. Faculty can begin exploring Canvas in preparation for the fall of 2025, when all courses will transition to Canvas. So the self-paced learning is what we're going to talk about today. So you can take and complete the self-paced ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials training course. This is designed to get you acquainted with the basic features and unique aspects of ISU Canvas. So you also want to leverage your experience. So if you do have experience with Canvas, maybe you used it at another institution, this is your chance to familiarize yourself with ISU's version of Canvas. So the specific features, and take advantage of some of our ISU branded pre-made framework courses that you can download into your course. And then finally is the transition to Canvas website. And so you want to explore this website as a resource. It has helpful links to tools and resources to assist you in the transition from Moodle to Canvas. And we'll talk about the Canvas transition website a little bit later in the presentation. This is the one-stop shop, one place that you can go for assistance with the Canvas transition. So it's a very important website to bookmark during the year. Next, I'll turn things over to Ryan, who's going to talk about ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials.
Thanks, Mark. So you might recognize MC Escher's artwork immediately. If not, one thing that's pretty well known about his particular works on Canvas and elsewhere is that his designs are bold and clear, but somehow also really surprising. So I appreciate that you're all giving us the opportunity to explicate the design of the ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials course, because the design isn't quite as self-evident as MC Escher's artwork tends to be. So what we have done is we introduce in this course the foundational Canvas features. So we plan to have additional courses subsequent to this in the future that we'll be rolling out. But for now, this will be the one that lets you understand and have experience with everything that we believe is absolutely essential for someone who's planning to teach in Canvas. Also, in addition to that familiarity, what we're hoping to do with the course is model course design best practices. So we're hoping that there are things you might decide to pick up and apply in your own courses. As one example, we have a learning guide for the course overall, as well as one within each module. And we also make sure throughout the course to use many of Canvas's features for online accessibility. We also provide opportunities for practice. That's why you get one of those sandbox courses. So if you choose to, you can sort of play along with the different exercises that we talk about throughout the course, and you can actually build those things in your own sandbox course. We also have a lot of check your knowledge quizzes throughout. And crucially, as Mark was saying, this gives you the chance to experience Canvas from the student side before you go about actually designing your own course. Many of the people who've been teaching at ISU for years, understandably, are very familiar with Moodle. You know how it will look to a student. We don't expect you to be as familiar with how Canvas will look to your students. And since there's some distinct differences, going through this course, even if you do feel like the material is very self-explanatory, it will let you actually experience what your own courses might look like to your learners in the future. So that's one of the things we're aiming for with the course design. And if you do find anything that sort of surprises you as a student, as a learner in this course, those are things to make note of, and then think about how you'll design your own course to sort of route around or account for those surprises that you felt as a learner. And then finally, this course gives you experience seeing what the quiz environment is like in Canvas. So again, it has distinct differences from how it displays things to the learners in a course. So this gives you an opportunity to experience that before you have to start thinking of your own course and all of the specifics of your discipline and your own content. This lets you just sort of abstractly engage with the information of Canvas in that new environment. So why might you want to complete all of it? There are 9 modules, and happy to let you know that full completion, doing 100% with every single quiz, getting full points, that is all completely optional. Completing it fully is optional. One benefit of earning an 85% on the cumulative quiz, that last one in the final module, that one will allow you to request additional sandboxes. So then after you've shown to yourself that you're familiar with everything we think is truly foundational, truly essential, then you can go ahead and start developing your own courses. And that module also will tell you how to move your content from Moodle into Canvas. So that is the sort of large extrinsic benefit for completing that final cumulative quiz with an 85% or better. In terms of intrinsic reasons for attentively engaging with every single module, we have made sure to make this course here at ISU, we've made it for you, ISU faculty. Canvas has tons of guides. They're good. They're not made for people who are familiar with Moodle, like we expect all of you to be. So what we've done is we've distilled the things that we think are most relevant about the differences between Moodle and Canvas to hopefully fast track you into understanding how Canvas will be different from Moodle. And again, we've already made 2 different frameworks, 2 different sort of ISU branded aesthetic containers that you can put in your course if you choose to. This particular course is demonstrating one of them. It's the one that's called the minimalist one, and you can find out more about that later if you choose. But right now, it's just a good demonstration of that customized thing to us at ISU. And it also includes a syllabus example, a few different examples, each of which is aligned with the Quality Matters standards. So those are evidence-based standards that have shown to help benefit all of your learners. So those are some of the reasons we encourage you to complete everything, but completion here is sort of engaging with all the material. The one thing that you'd want to do in order to be able to start having your own sandboxes and start building your own courses subsequent to this, again, would be earning an 85% on that one cumulative quiz at the end. And for those of you who already know Canvas, so I'm sure some of you, I'd be very surprised if some of you are here and don't already have some familiarity with Canvas. So if you're one of those lucky folks, I'd suggest that you take this opportunity to observe our course design, see what we've done, see what you might want to adopt yourself, see what you might want to do differently. So just become familiar with what we have in ISU's version of Canvas, because we have some additional features, some add-ons, and those branded things that I said we've made that are going to look a bit different than what you've seen at other institutions that use Canvas. Go ahead and feel free to learn strategically. As I said before, we've put those learning guides in every single module, as well as the course overall. So you can look at those and choose which of the modules you want to engage with most substantially. These learning guides are basically a preview of the module's content, so they're a good way to let you know which ones you'd want to engage with really in depth and which ones you might feel you already know. And again, you can think about which practices you might adopt. I'm a very big fan of those learning guides. So if it's new to you, I'd ask that you take a look at that and consider adopting it for your own courses. You might also consider the workflow suggestions that we've woven throughout. The course is broadly grouped into modules that have to do with before teaching in Canvas, during teaching in Canvas, and after. And we also have a checklist for the end of semester. So hopefully you find all of those useful. So those are things that we've woven in that even if you know Canvas, hopefully this can help you think about how you're going to adapt your courses to Canvas. One of the modules contains that guide for backing up and importing your content from Moodle into Canvas. So once you've done that, you'll be able to start adapting it to that new Canvas environment. But these are all the things that this course helps provide to help those of you who are already familiar with Canvas move your content from Moodle over there. So up next, Lisa is going to tell us more about navigating in Canvas.
We know that some of you are familiar with Canvas and some of you, it's brand new. And the first module in the self-paced course, ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials, is about navigation. As you approach this self-paced course to give you the essential basic foundational knowledge of what Canvas is and what it can do, you're going to be having two roles. You're going to be a student in this course, and you're also going to be a faculty in your sandbox course. So I'm going to focus first on your navigation as a student. So this is when you're inside the ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials course. The course navigation menu is on the left, and that's your friend. It looks like this. We have a course navigation menu in Moodle as well. Many people collapse it. In Canvas, you do not want to collapse this unless you do it intentionally, and then you want to open it back up, and you do that with those three lines. So this is a vital navigation tool for you. Your homepage as a student is at the top, and this is where you end up going quite a bit. So when you don't know where you're going, you go back home. The way I generally compare Canvas and Moodle is Moodle by default is set up kind of like a calendar, a big long calendar for the semester. Canvas is set up more like a book. So as you create your pages and you go through things, there's next and previous buttons at the bottom. This is a logical navigation piece. It's slightly different, but this is also a very common way to navigate. Again, you still have that course navigation on the left, and then you can always go back home and you can go through those other views as well. But course navigation, homepage, and then your next and previous buttons are going to be your vital navigation in a course as a student. So now let's talk about getting around as an instructor. I encourage you to use the sandbox course that you have to see the instructor view and the student view. Again, you have your course navigation. You're going to use the home button too, the home page, but you're also going to use modules and how you edit, so it's slightly bit different. So again, we have course navigation. 3 lines will collapse it and open it. You still have that home page. Something that's going to look very familiar to you is modules. So this is how you put all of your items that your students need to do, whether it's read something that you've put on a page, participate in a discussion, take a quiz. This is where you put them in order. And this is where the next and previous buttons come in. So as an instructor, you're probably going to hit on that modules button much more often than the home. Just to let you know, your sandbox homepage is the module page. So we've set that up intentionally to help you with this transition. In Canvas, you select the title of something and your edit is on the top right. So you select the item and then you click edit. There's the kebab menu, those 3 dots that go vertical, and you see them in Moodle as well. And you're going to want to click on those and select edit. And that does not happen in Canvas. So you're going to click on the title and then you're going to click edit. So in Moodle, we did a lot with breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are the stuff at the top. We discourage you from using the breadcrumbs in Canvas. So Canvas has buckets. As you can see over on the left-hand side, my arrow, there's a bucket where all of your pages go, and they're listed alphabetically. So If you're on this page and you want to go to the next item that you've put in order, the next button is more obvious, or your module button, but we encourage you to not use the breadcrumbs up at the top. All three of us have gotten lost as we started exploring and using those breadcrumbs out of habit from some of our previous navigational muscle memory. So your initial learning sandbox comes with your registration in the ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials. So how should you use it? In Module 9, there's instructions on importing it, and just like you do every semester. So every semester you go through and you find your new course and you import the other one. It's the same kind of process, only you're going to download it to your computer and then import it into Canvas. If you're familiar enough with the navigation in Canvas, you could go and start here. If you're not familiar with the navigation in Canvas, these instructions might throw you for a loop. So that's why it's Module 9 and not Module 1, because if you are completely new to Canvas, then we want to make sure you have some of those foundational pieces with the navigation and getting things around first. There are some frameworks that Ryan mentioned. This course uses one of those frameworks, so you can see it in action. We are also rolling out other frameworks and guides and strategies to help you make your course look the way you want it to look. So watch for more professional development related to Canvas. This course, the ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials, is a self-paced course. If self-paced is not your best learning modality and you want to come meet with us, you can meet with us one-on-one. We can come to your department. You'll also be seeing more facilitated or hour-long type of workshops. Those will be coming in so that you can learn Canvas in a way that works for you. In your initial learning sandbox, practice, play, and explore. We are using the term sandbox, but that does not mean the technical sandbox like this is going to go away or overwritten. Basically, it's just your place to practice, play, and explore. You will have it. It's not connected to a term, so you can practice everything that you want in it. And can you get additional ones? Yes, you can have as many sandboxes as you need. We do ask that you complete the essentials before you request additional sandboxes. To give you an example, I received an email similar to the question about videos, and we talk about videos in here. They want to know what the plan is. This kind of outlines the plan for you, so get acquainted with this. There's lots of places to find help. We are definitely here to help you, but we also want to give you a good foundation. We want to be able to empower you to feel comfortable in this space. So, do you have to do the practice quizzes? Ryan kind of talked about this. It really just depends. Do you want to experience a practice quiz from a student perspective? So you are a student in here, so thinking about what students think about your students and how they approach the quiz, and looking at the quiz interface. Canvas has a really incredible student view. And so you're going to ask me, why not just use the student view? Well, as an instructor, when I use the student view, the things that I'm looking for is, did I publish everything? Are these questions displaying correctly? Are they displaying in the correct order? I am not looking to produce an answer. Being a student in a course is different cognition. So we encourage you to take this experience, to look at the quiz and notice that, yeah, there's a timer up there, even though these aren't timed. It tells you how long you're taking. You can look at the navigation. One thing with the quizzes that's different is the description shows up on every single page. So if you have a really long description, that can interfere with the test taking. So paying attention to what shows up and what displays, especially as it might pertain to your specific students. We encourage you to take the practice quizzes. Like I said, they're practice. They are set up as practice quizzes. You won't see them in the grade book. That's something that you can do. You also get to see the various types of questions, so you can see what they look like. You might see a new question type that maybe you want to try. And it's also kind of a self-check. As Ryan pointed out with the Eschler images, it's really bold and it stands out. But I don't know about you, but the more I look at something done by Eschler, the more I see. And so you're going to go through this course, especially if you have taken any type of professional development related to teaching online or teaching with an LMS. A lot of the things in here is not going to surprise you. Yes, there's discussion. Yes, there's assignments. Yes, there's all of these things, and you do them. The practice quizzes just kind of point to certain things that we want to highlight. And it's like, okay, did you notice this? Did you notice this? Because when you read it, you're going to say, yeah, I know that. And we know that. There is a cumulative quiz. So this one is the one that's successful completion of the ISU Canvas Faculty Essentials is 85% or better on the final quiz. This is set up as a quiz. This is the one you will see in the gradebook. And do you have to do it? Well, it depends. Again, do you want proof that you've completed the course? So some of you, depending on where you're at in your career life, or somebody in your department may ask if you've been doing this. A digital badge is awarded, and that can be used like a certificate of completion. I've already been asked by certain departments, do you have tracking my faculty? Have they participated? This also helps us to know and report back to people who ask the question, how many people are doing this? So you can take all of these as many times as you want. So this isn't like the GRE. This isn't high stakes. In fact, we haven't even locked it down. It even says you may use the resources in the course. You might want to try doing that and see how your students do that and why you wouldn't want to do that in some of your courses. So think about what you would want to do and what you wouldn't want to do. Right now, in terms of sandboxes, we're limiting access to sandboxes in terms of if you've completed this. So once you've completed this and you have access to this information, then moving on to sandboxes is exactly what you should be doing. And we do want you to have those foundations because we want you to be successful. We want to empower you and give you the tools that you need. More is coming. This initial course is just the essentials. There's some exciting things coming that you'll want to watch for, and you can have as many sandboxes as you want. If you teach 10 different courses, I hope you don't, but you can have 10 different sandboxes, and then you can just import your courses in and see how they convert. In terms of sandboxes, I'll tell you that we've run some reports, and about 60% of courses will come over and they'll just have some minor polish. So there's some really good things to get your course in and see how your course looks in Canvas. If you want to learn more, there's lots of resources available to you. We have Tiger Tracks articles that are just in time, tips at your fingers, kind of walk you through step by step how to do things. We do record these Wednesday webinar videos and they are posted to the ITRC video library. There is a QR code up in the top right. So if you scan that, it will take you to these pages and these links. And we have the Wednesday webinar schedule. Next webinar is on Panopto. So we've talked about that video storage. So we encourage you to visit us next week or watch the recording. We are happy to meet with you to discuss anything about your courses. You can email us at itrc@isu.edu. You can give us a call. You can drop in at the basement of the Oboler Library on the Pocatello campus. And we have a link to make on-demand appointments so that you can schedule your time with us. So you have a question about gradebook, you have a question, want to dig deeper into analytics, you need help with your Panopto, you need help with Zoom, anything, we're willing to help you at a time that works for you. Watch in the Idaho State Today for more Wednesday webinars and other professional development training, including a Canvas Town Hall that will be happening in September. And as we mentioned at the beginning, all questions about Canvas are on the ISU Canvas transition website. So we encourage you to bookmark that and come back to that. That front page will update. We also keep track of all of our communications, and all the training that we offer will be posted up there. So we thank you for joining us today and look forward to seeing you in future Wednesday webinars.